Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Alliance Live Show number 36. I'm your host, Ramon Azab, aka Remon with the Alliance, and I'm joined with tons of love and tons of admiration by my host, good old Maurice. How you doing today, brother?
How's it going, man? Going well.
Or co-host, for that matter. Yes, I'm doing good as well. It's freezing here in New York, and it's actually 6 degrees outside right now. And I gotta tell you, I don't love it, but you know, got kind of a late start tonight to the live show. I know that the Reality Skewed Gamers guys are still going over there, but I wanted to get this up and running and just get this going for the week. We have a lot to discuss in terms of what's coming, but again, not much news as far as the game is concerned. Not much really going on. I'm going to do some territory battles here for you guys. I think we're going for 45 stars here for our second time in light side territory battles, so I'm excited about that. I'll get to unlock the Wampa tomorrow. Super stoked about that. So we'll get to talking about that here in a little bit, but. How are you guys doing on territory battles now, Maurice? Are you guys getting close to 43, 44 stars?
We've got the GP to get to 43. Just the Rogue One mission, those Rebel missions, it's really difficult still to just get 6 of 6 across the board on those. That's pretty tough. So we got to 42. We'll be very close to 43. Getting kind of close to 44 too. We were about 10 million away today, or I guess earlier today on P5 from the next star. So we're closing that gap pretty quickly too. So we're getting there, man.
That's awesome. So as the title says, I wanted to talk a little bit about what's coming next. I mean, we haven't really gotten any news from CG or EA over the last couple of days, last couple of weeks, really. Because of the holidays, and that's to be expected. It's pretty much what happened last year as well. We really didn't get any news until mid-January or so as to what was coming up. I'm sure they have some stuff cooking. What are your thoughts, Maurice? I mean, do you think we're going to get some new characters from, like, let's say, the Last Jedi movie? You think they're going to what do you think's coming next? Do you think we're getting a new game mode? I mean, do you think they're just going to update some of the stuff that's going? Do you think they'll do another quality of life update here? I mean,
I hope it's not a game mode. Like we're just now getting settled in with all these the three they've given us, the Dark and Light Side and the Territory Wars. I hope it's not a game mode, but I can see some more characters. We do need some more Dark Side characters for sure.
Right, because now with the TB, we definitely need some more Dark Side characters to use. I mean, what do you think? What characters do you think from The Last Jedi, for example? Will we see in the game? I mean, do you think we're going to see, any new characters from the movie, or do you think we're going to see some characters from the canon? And let's say, I mean, they really only released Jedi Rey, right? So I mean, or Jedi Training Rey. So, what other characters do you think we might see?
Well, I mean, they could just do some generic characters. And they could do another version of Phasma possibly. They could do it. I mean. Just give us repeats of older characters. Phasma, they already gave us Kylo.
She didn't really have a big enough role in this movie, I think, to justify another character. I don't know. She was kind of, really a disappointment. I figured we'd see a lot more Phasma. Maybe some Phasma, some Phasma attacks, maybe Phasma talking. I mean, I don't know. She really just popped up for one scene and, was out. I mean, I heard a lot of rumors prior to the movie coming out that she was going to be or at least have a bigger role in the new film, and I really didn't see that. But I do think from the movie we'll see certain characters. Like I think we'll eventually see Rose. I'm sure we'll see some of those Praetorian guards. I mean, I don't know if we'll get all of them.
Hux is definitely a possibility.
I always thought Hux would be would get a capital ship. You know what I'm saying? I don't know. I mean, now that they have the supremacy. I mean, I don't know. I mean, I guess. I guess Snoke would be the captain of the supremacy. I mean, but I'm sure Hux could fill that role. I mean, do you think we'll see Snoke in the game? I mean, or do you think? I mean, I mean, the character. I mean, spoiler alert for anybody that doesn't want to, hasn't seen the Last Jedi yet. But in the movie, Snoke doesn't, he doesn't make it. So I mean, we're not going to be waiting until Episode 9 to get this guy, right? I mean, you think they'll bring him in the game now?
I don't know. I don't think so. I don't think he's coming. He just if this game won't be around, maybe there's something else. Episode 9. I don't really think we're gonna get another capital ship right now. We got 2 of the light side, 2 of the dark side. We need more ships. Is what we need, some variety in ship arena. Because I don't know about you, but my ship chart, it's pretty much there's like 6 or 7 ships, and every single team in the top 20 consists. Their starting 5 has 5 of those 6 or 7 ships. Like every single team, it's just over and over and over again. Like it'd be nice to have a little bit of variety, some ships that are actually arena viable. That'd be nice. That'd be my New Year's wish.
It'd be nice to see some new ship content in general. I mean, we really haven't gotten much since they released ships, other than the addition of ships. Let's say in the fact that there are ship battles in territory battles. I don't know. I mean, there's no. Ships seems to be basically like an entirely new game, right? Like you have a whole other side of this game with ships, and I mean, we've all talked or theory crafted about possibly like a ship raid or something like that at some point. But I think that again, I mean, just not having some sort of ship. Light side battles or ship dark side battles. I mean, some sort of like PvE ship content, is really kind of lacking. I think there should be something that you do. Now, I don't know if you need like a ship galactic war or something like that. Maybe something weekly with ships, or because again, there is already a lot of stuff in this game. I don't know if we need another daily activity added, but maybe something as far as like like a ship weekly galactic war type thing, or maybe ship tournaments. I don't know. So, I mean, something would be cool. I mean, again, there's a lot of investment put into ships from a lot of people. I mean, I know when ships came out, I bought a bunch of those packs thinking that ships were going to be very important. And I mean, now they have their place, of course. I mean, we need them for TB, but I'm saying again, I just figured I figured ships would play a bigger role at this point. And I mean, ships have been out for over a year now, so I don't know.
Well, it's just in the ship-wise, I mean, the people that did invest in the ships didn't really have that big of an advantage. Like, I didn't invest in ships at all, and I've got all the ships now, level 85, except for those 2 new First Order ships. So I mean, they gave people that were willing to buy them a nice head start, but then they gave so much time in between, like, relevant content that everybody caught up with them, and there was really no advantage. Because in the fleet arena, I mean, there's really ship power. GP means nothing there. Like you can beat fleets 100,000 power higher than yours, as long as you have a strong starting 5. It's just I'd like to see something else with ships, like even just like a single player map. Maybe like the character battles have like a ship battle where you could do some regular nodes and get some ship currency, maybe some of those ability mats. Not that we really need those right now, but and then even like a hard side mode, maybe give us some more hard nodes to choose from. I mean, I know we have a lot already, but just
I think we'll definitely see some quality of life stuff eventually here. Now, I don't know what they'll do. I mean, I think there's a lot of stuff that needs to be addressed. I mean, we've all talked about some sort of a mod management tool maybe being added to the game at some point, or oh no, I'm getting the shaft now.
A mod management tool would be good. Yeah, mod management tool would be good. They could do some, because they've introduced all these characters. We have so many characters in the game. So you know how we can like build our custom fleets or custom like teams and stuff and sort through them on the regular menu, but there's no way to sort through the characters like on the selection screen. Like when you're doing your territory battles here, like they just, when you're picking your team, it shows all 70 of your light side characters, and you can't filter them. So like if like your Rogue One team here, if you have like 4 really strong characters, let's say your Cassian is kind of under geared, it gets kind of be a pain to find him. I mean, that's nitpicky and kind of whiny, I guess, but there's a lot of little stuff they could do. Mod management tool would be fantastic. You know, I don't know.
I'm in trouble here.
Yeah. Well, I don't know, man.
Yeah, I'm in big trouble here. Oh no.
Just keep your guys, but don't let them get low on health, because then that commander or the special ops will just wipe them out. You got Jen's revive coming up. Oh boy, just kidding. Just kidding.
Oh, oh, oh! I pulled that out, man. That was too close. That was too close. Wow. Yeah, that should not have been that close. Oh my goodness. Yeah, I'm sorry, guys. You know, that was too close. But
that's the first time I've ever seen Cassie and the last guy standing.
Yeah.
It's just...
Yeah, that was, at least it worked out. That was a close one. Yeah, a mod management tool would be great. I'd love to see, you know, I'd love to see some sort of a VIP system put into this game. I mean, we've talked about this for a long time too, and I mean, I don't know. Again, I feel like a VIP system would be beneficial to a lot of the players that have spent a lot of money in this game, because I mean, again, you know, in this game, when you make purchases, I mean, the old purchases that you've made in this game kind of, you know, are cleansed after a while. You know, like you know, when I first made investment in this game, you know, I bought a lot of Chromium packs, you know, to get like Princess Leia, for example, and you know, Ayla Secura, and you know, these characters that are not really, you know, they're not really hard to attain anymore these days. So, you know, that money has kind of been washed, you know, or cleansed at this point. Now, I do have the characters, and I got them faster and things like that, so that's a huge benefit as well. But what I'm saying is that I think there's a you know, a need to give or address.
The problem with a VIP system is, how do you go back and compensate the people that have already spent money? Like, you've spent some money. I'll spend a little money in the game. But there are people that have spent way more money than us.
Well, right.
And for them to introduce a VIP system now.
Well, those are really the people I'm talking about. I mean, those are the guys. I mean, I'm not even talking about myself. I'm talking about the guys that have spent. You know, I mean, there's you know, there should be a point you reach where once you've spent a certain amount of money, you know, vaults cost a better price for you, you know, or something. I mean, at least I think so. I mean, again, and I'm not trying to say that it's, you know, it doesn't necessarily have to be, you know, there could be a tiered system, you know what I'm saying? Yeah, I mean, maybe for people that have spent, you know, a couple of bucks, for up to people that have spent thousands of dollars, you know what I mean? And just, you know, kind of work its way up. And, you know, everybody can see some sort of a benefit based upon how much they've, you know, I mean, it just can work. It can work all the way. I mean, again, I'm saying this is not necessarily the largest. I think mod management tool is more important than this, but I think that this is something that definitely, you know, should have been done a long time ago. Most games have something like this, and again, there are people that you know, that have spent or made a large investment in this game that should get some sort of a benefit for the amount that they have spent. I mean, I don't know.
Well, I mean, a change that would I mean, yes, that'd be nice for, I don't know, but a change that would be helpful for every single player is just fix the 600 counter. You know,
yes.
I mean, everyone's argument is always, well, you know, that's a change that requires coding, and a change that really doesn't make them any money, but yet the other quality of life changes they didn't make them any money either. They just did that for us, you know, because I could definitely see a quality of life change coming very soon. Maybe some new features. The guild tools they've incorporated here that you're seeing on your screen with the territory battles have been great. I mean, those have been really helpful to not only officers like myself, but just to members as well. Like, they don't have to constantly be opening up Discord to see if anything changes. They can just see it right on the screen. Makes it a lot. Main thing they need to address is time spent in game. I know they want you in game, you know, as much as possible, but there's a fine line of too much time in game, and people are like, this is too time consuming, and they quit. and I think they've teetered into that threshold there. You know, like it's just too much time in game. Like the dark side territory battles, they did make them 4 phases, like 4 combat waves per phase, which does actually help minimize the time in game. I noticed that in the last dark side TV we did. Like light side TV, I sit down. I've got a roster that's I'm pretty much done with my light side TV prep, but P5, P6, man, that's still like a half an hour. You know, be sitting there just playing nothing but the game, and that's for a mobile game. That's a lot, and that doesn't even include all the time you spend in arena, ship arena, galactic war, you know, stuff like that. So it's gonna be interesting.
For sure.
I look at the game and I don't see too much that you can really add on the character side for like sorting and just user friendliness outside of the character like actual selection screen. Everything else is already there. You can pre-sort teams. You can sort your roster by this, that. There's tons of options to sort by.
You know, I think that for sure, some sort of a mod management tool is huge. I think that there's definitely a need to do a lot of different quality of life adjustments, like maybe, for example, let's say being able to. I've always been a proponent of being able to sim your Galactic War, but now that they've nerfed Galactic War so much, it's not really a big deal to spend the 5 minutes to get it done anymore, or 10 minutes. But for other things like, for example, some of these. Some of these raids, for example, I don't know. I feel like, I don't know. Obviously the ticket situation's a bigger deal. So, I would say that would probably be the priority. So I don't want to say that getting anything else done with a raid would be more important. But, for some reason, again, I think that, for some people that have been doing certain things in this game for a long time, they need to continue to try to make some of those remedial tasks a little bit easier, especially if they're going to continue to add game modes and things like that, and add more things or responsibilities that you're going to have to do throughout the day. So, if let's say they add another raid, or they add another type of let's say a play mode, like for example a new type of Galactic War or something like that, or a new territory battles or a new territory war. That's going to just add to, more responsibilities to what you're doing right now. I think they just need to, find other ways to alleviate maybe some of the other things that you're doing in the game. Maybe like your Galactic War, or, like the challenges. Maybe a way to just sim all the challenges in a day instead of having to wait the 2 minutes, I don't know. Yeah. I guess at some point you get to it, you're just nitpicking. But, I just think it's, there are some things that they could add that would be beneficial. But, I don't know. What other characters do you think might come in?
Besides the new ones, I don't know, man. Like, you'd think there'd be some new ones from the movie. Like we mentioned Hux, I guess Rose is an option. All sorts of characters they can bring in. There's always the option of... I can see them doing another marquee event soon. Like a headliner character, and then like 2 generic characters, like they did with Nihilus and the Sith Assassin Trooper Kylo with his little buddy, First Order Special Forces TIE pilot. You had like Gar Saxon come in. You had his buddy, just a generic Imperial Super Commando.
Right.
I hope it's not. I hope they don't really get on this train with like the Towson cadence, or just like it's like buy this character for 1 month, and if you don't, you'll have an opportunity once a month to get 10, 20 shards over.
That's pretty much the deal with all the Night Sisters, right? Like that's the deal with Night Sister Zombie and Night Sister Ghost as well, right? Or Night Sister Spirit. Sorry,
I'm pretty confident it's going to be like that for Towson. It's going to be like Towson or Wicked. I think that's correct with the other 2 Night Sisters, but I'm not 100% on that. All 3 of them, Wicked as well. All those characters are extremely difficult to get. However, they are in chromiums. If anyone likes to go that route, I've never, I don't know. I've never really endorsed the chromiums too much.
I'm not doing chromiums anymore.
I don't. You can get the characters that way, and I think that don't take this to the bank, but I'm pretty sure like the newer characters do have a slightly higher drop rate. You know, a couple of the guys, and the girl, Crazy Excuses, Game Changer, that you work with, she did a pack opening and she got tons of. I think like one pack she got like 3 pulls of Kylo Ren in it. Like, so, I mean, they do that small sample size I've seen. They do seem to drop more frequently. The newer characters like Gar Saxon, Imperial Super Commando, you know, like Kylo Ren. The veterans are dropping pretty heavily in there. Stuff like that. But again, I'm not trying to sway anyone to purchase chromiums, but
yeah, I mean, you know, there's definitely a bunch of characters they can add. I think they do add Snoke pretty soon. I think they will add some of these characters from the movie. I also think that we're going to see, you know, possibly. I mean, what are your thoughts about this Reven rumor? I mean, I could tell you, you know, as a game changer, I haven't heard anything officially. So I mean, I can't, you know.
Well, it's been rumored that the game might have Reven come into it sometime in February, and that you're gonna. I think the thing that I saw said it's going to include Sith Assassin, Sith Trooper. So you're probably going to want to maybe have Nihilus ready. I don't know if it'll be like a legendary event.
If it is, you know, I mean, who would you think the other 2 characters would be?
Oh, see, this requires some like lore discussion, and I'm not super savvy on the.
I would think HK-47 would probably be.
Yeah,
you know, we were actually discussing this on the stream this morning with on the Reality Scoot Gamers on the Jedi Academy stream this morning. So I mean, we talked about it for a little bit, but yeah, I would think you know, HK-47 would be a part of it. I don't know who else they'd probably have to add somebody prior to the event, right? Like somebody would have to farm, or I don't know.
Well, I will say, if this rumor is true, and any of you guys watching the stream, you know, are little conspiracy theorists and like to jump on the rumors, because they are true sometimes, and sometimes they're not. But if they are true, you don't have a Sith Trooper, you need to get on it, because it's going to take you a month easy to get him. Let me look up exactly how many days it will take, but I mean that's a 16 energy node. If we're talking February, let's just, I'm pulling a number out of my butt, maybe second week of February, that's 30 days. It's, you know, I think most people probably have Sith Trooper at 3-star when you know, that marquee event we had. So I mean, it's going to take you, just give me a second, I'll look up exactly how many days it will take. But if you guys are into, you know, jumping on rumors and stuff, I'm not saying you should or shouldn't. I'm just saying if you're buying into the hype, you need to get on Sith Trooper if you don't have them. I know I personally have to. If you got a 3-star Sith Trooper, it is going to take you if you do 2 refreshes a day in Cantina, it's going to take you 34 days to finish him. So that's going to put you right on the mark. So you know, three refreshes a day, 26 days. 1 is going to be 48 days, 82 days if you don't refresh the Cantina.
Wow.
So I would say most people probably refresh twice, if not 3 times, if you're getting first, you know, top 5 in both arenas. That's a good way to spend your crystals. But so 34 days, guys. If you got a 3-star Sith Trooper, you get them done. So get on it with 2 refreshes. If you want to jump on this, I'm not sure who the 5th character would be, and I fear how they would introduce this character. You know, if it's some 5th required character and they put him in a pack like Talzin or you know, just like a pack, you know, there's going to be some upset players about that for sure. Me being one of them, but that's the way it is. I mean, you know,
I think without a doubt, if they release Reven in this game, I mean, I'm going for it. I mean, so it's not like, I really have to think about it, but I mean, at the same time, I mean, I'm kind of a little bit away with Sith Assassin. I have Sith Trooper farmed. I need to gear him up a little bit, but you know, I feel like there's no way they would just release it without adding some sort of a
Well, you got Sith Assassin in the guild store now, which isn't too terrible. I think out of there, if you can catch all 4 refreshes, I think you average what, 4 shards a day or so of that.
Yes. So I mean,
so you're looking maybe out 120 shards, maybe a Sith Assassin you can gather up before then.
but I still think they would have to add another character. So I mean, I don't think they're ever going to add like a major character like that and just kind of give them out for free. I think they're going to try to figure out some way to make you have to farm something really fast. So I think if they do that, we'll probably see some sort of a new Sith edition that comes in the next couple of weeks. Maybe they throw them in. Maybe they make them an easy farm. Maybe they make them put them in like some sort of Galactic War store or something like that, or some place where you should have saved your currency, or should have saved currency in order to get them. But I don't know. I mean, maybe the SWAT Arena store or something. But I doubt it. I think most likely what'll happen here is we'll see. Maybe some sort of a character. If this is the case, I mean, if they are actually, releasing, Reven and they're going to make some sort of an event for him, and he's not going to be just a strictly pay to play character, then I think it'll be a situation where they release some sort of a Sith character over the next couple of weeks, and we'll have to then farm this character prior to the event, as well as having all the other Sith that are already in this game. So I mean, I don't know. That's just what I think. But I mean, I don't know.
I just, with the character, we were talking before the show how popular Reven is in the Star Wars community. I could see them really doing another, I'm not even sure what you call it, like the Talisman Wicked event, but I could really see them doing it. Especially now that all of us see how difficult Talisman is to obtain if you didn't buy her. Like the once a month event, we get 10 shards, you can refresh for an astronomical amount of crystals to get 10 more shards. People now see that it's impossible to obtain Talisman without chromiums. So I think if they were to do Reven, they would try that route again. And now everybody knows that if you miss out on buying it, you miss out on buying it. Reven's way more popular of a character, as you were talking about, the Talisman, in the Star Wars community. So
I mean, Talisman is pretty popular. I just think Reven is kind of like, he's kind of like a Skywalker from another saga. You know what I mean? He's not Skywalker. I mean, of course, but what I'm saying he's huge. I mean, like for fans of the expanded universe, I mean, Reven is, next to Skywalkers or any of the Skywalkers, he's one of the largest characters in the universe. So I mean, he's got his own set of games about him, and I mean, he's also. He's just one of the cooler characters. I mean, he's got, he's one of the, if not the only, he's one of the few characters that, basically wields both sides of the Force, So, as far as, all this stuff that we've been talking about with, the Jedi going gray and, all this stuff that they're kind of leaning towards, I feel like Reven would be like pretty much the epitome of what they're trying to do. So I don't know. I feel like, Reven's going to be a big deal. I don't think he'll be just a regular, one-off character that they'll put in a marquee event like Mother Talzin or something like that. Even though Mother Talzin is still a big character, I think that Reven is bigger, in my opinion. So, we'll see.
Well, since you're doing this special mission here, B Masu's in my guild. He asked in our guild chat earlier, what team should I use for the special mission? Now, I see you're not using CLS, but this is a B Masu. You've got all these characters. This is something you could run. What I actually ran, it actually was Ghost's idea, and he's in the chat here. I ran all 5 of the Hoth characters for my special mission, but I do have a Gear 11 Scout and Soldier, which definitely helps. But I mean, it wasn't pretty, but it got it done. Like when all these Hoth characters die, like you're using Captain Han and Rolo here, if they die, they get that revive with the red triangle above their head, and you got 1 turn to kill another enemy. So if all 5 of those characters have it, even if they die, you get 5 get out of jail free cards and Han's revive. So it's doable, and those are characters you don't have to platoon, and it saves the rest of your roster to use on that rebel mission, which is pretty tough. But Rolo, CLS, Captain Han, and GK is pretty money for this. Just insert whoever you want. It doesn't matter. I think Ezra's actually a really good choice as a 5th. That way you can platoon the rest of your Phoenix if you wanted to. You just keep Ezra.
Yeah.
But yeah, you saw there. You got it done pretty easily there. What's your Rolo? Gear 9.
She's gear 9. So
yeah.
rolling with a gear 9 Rolo. And yeah, I saved CLS so I could do Rebels for this mission here. So I'm going to do actually Akbar lead with R2D2 Old Ben, and I'm going to use Hermit Yoda here.
I will say on that special mission, it makes it.
Well, that's why Hermit Yoda I can't use here. That sucks. I forgot about that.
Focus fire the AT Walker. Just focus fire. Make sure you land that buff immunity from Rolo's basic on the actual tank itself. That way, it can't get all the protection, all that speed up and garbage that the commando is trying to give it. The commando will waste his turn and try to give it to him, but he's got buff block over his head, so he won't get it. So that's about all Rolo's good for on that last wave. Just sticking the buff immunity on the Walker.
Yeah, I actually completely forgot that I can't use Hermit Yoda in this battle because he's not a rebel, like an idiot. So, okay, so, I mean, I guess I could still go in there with Akbar.
How's your Pathfinder?
Pathfinder's pretty weak.
Yeah, you got Old Ben.
I think this should be okay. We'll see. Leia with R2 Munter. Yeah, it's a little too late now. I don't know. I guess I don't know. My Sabine is pretty good, so I mean I think she should be all right. But we'll see. I've never ran this team before.
You got a Zeta on Sabine or no?
No. No, I don't have Zeta on Sabine, but I mean she's pretty. She's gear 11. She's okay, and I have some okay mods on her. But yeah, I mean this team really was. I mean the way I set it up. Like I said, I'm disappointed, but the way I set it up was really for Hermit Yoda to be the 5th, and I thought this team would be perfect for that. But again, didn't plan correctly, so I'll just have to make it work here. I'm sure it'll be fine. But
yeah, if you guys have any questions or anything, fire them away. This is a good look at P6 at an in-game level, which you'll need. Like you'll see, he's using pretty much all Gear 11 plus characters. The special mission is not as difficult as I think a lot of people want to make it out to be. I know the majority of you guys don't have 7-star Rolo, or if you do, it's like your first week trying it, so.
Yeah, I think
it's very difficult. The toughest part about P6, even if you have all the characters, is balancing out, because you got to fill the platoons, because these missions are really, really tough without the platoon bonuses. I mean, if you go in there 0-6, I mean, they're borderline impossible to get 6-6 across the board. It's really difficult balancing. You can't platoon all your rebels because you don't have enough to do the mission with. So you got to find within your own roster like a nice little balance. Now, I would suggest actually building a specific team for this rebel mission alone. And that way you have your Rogue One who you can't platoon, you have your 5 guys set, and then everything else is wide open. And you probably have a team like Resistance for the bottom mission. Phoenix, they're okay. The Phoenix, unless you have them really tricked out with a Zeta or 2, it's tough to get 6-6 on these missions with an all Phoenix team. I tried today actually, because I got a little too giving in the platoons, gave away a lot of my good rebels. So I tried them out. They didn't go too hot.
Yeah, it's definitely important to plan out your strategy a little, correctly, and definitely have the characters set up, for the different battles that you want. You want to have solid teams for each wave going in, and fortunately with the addition of Rey Jedi Training, that pretty much makes my Resistance team a lot better. I was having occasionally bad RNG with the resistance, depending on how much expose I would get, whether it would actually stick or not. So I'd play around with the potency a little bit of the squad, and sometimes you get good RNG, sometimes you don't. So it would work in my favor occasionally, and sometimes not so much. But with Rey Jedi Training, that's solved. Now I just again, going into this last battle, I wish I had saved maybe Han Solo for damage, or somebody else. But listen, I mean, getting the special mission done was the most important thing here, so I had to go for that. That gets my team the rewards, and then I think even if I were to lose a wave here or something like that, if that happens, unfortunately, then we'll still be able to get 45 stars, even if we lose a couple of waves. So it's much more important to complete that special mission than it is to lose a wave here in one of the combat missions. I mean, it depends on how tight your guild is with the GP to get to whatever star level you're looking at. But again, I think we're going to be able to see 45 a little bit easier this time than we were the first time. So hopefully we don't lose too many combat missions here in the last phase. But
if your guild is all on the same page and everyone's prepping, like it gets to a point you can have all the characters you need for it, and then it just comes down to just basically sitting on your hands and waiting for your character GP to catch up, so you just get those extra stars. Like we're in a position where most of the people have all the squad real close. A few of the guys are still missing, good art or like Rogue One teams. So we're getting to a position where we're almost done with our prep for this game mode, but it's still going to take us, months to get to the point where we just have our rosters up higher. Like it just gets to the point where you can beat all the missions, you get six across the board, but if you don't have the character GP to get the stars, there's nothing you can do about it. Which is frustrating that you kind of hit a wall. We're getting there. But
ooh, okay.
Pretty pumped, man. The guild did a great job this time. Full participation every day. Everyone's on board doing their part. It's really nice. It's really stress-free territory battle this time. We got a bunch of guys in the guild or in the chat, so thank you guys. B Masu, good work. Good work, B Masu. Stand on people. Well,
this is mortifying here.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't know about that. This bean selection might have been your downfall there.
If I can just get his protection off, and maybe I get a stun here. So I definitely don't want another area of... Oh, damn it. Let me give this a shot. Nope. Okay. Who's got the most turn meter? What sucks is when they block the turn meter and you can't really see.
Yeah.
Let me stun him, maybe. Yes. Okay. Got him out. Let me stun this guy.
Yeah, you're creeping through it, man, but you got that 5 to 6, but...
Stun that guy. Come on. At least I can get through this.
Yeah, I guess I'm watching on the stream here. I'm on a little delay, so I'll just...
At least if I can get through this, this wave here, I'll only lose one. Okay. All right, I got to wave 6. I'm definitely done now.
A lot of the guys in the chat were asking, what is the source of this Reven rumor we're talking about? And I guess, I don't know if somebody made it up or if it was actually legit. Just like, I guess, a little screenshot of some message or of some sort. I'm not sure. I don't have the actual message or anything, but there's a lot of speculation that Reven's coming. A lot of talk in the community about it. So You know, a lot of talk was going around about Jedi Rey and youth veterans, and that turned out being right. You know, I can't think of any off the top of my head, but there's been instances where rumors are wrong. So, you know, just like everything else in this game, you got to be careful what you invest in. I mean, if you don't have a Sith team and you're sitting here pumping all your canteen energy into a Sith trooper and you don't need them for the event, I mean, you have a borderline worthless character if you don't have any Sith to pair with it. You know, very expensive, hard to gear, hard to farm character.
Oh my goodness. How am I still surviving this right now?
Trying to pick out some of these questions in the chat. Yeah, if you guys have any questions, just drop them in. I'm gathering some up as we speak. Ghost is a little funny guy tonight. Ghost got some jokes.
Bam, baby. Bam, baby. Yeah.
That's unbelievable.
Bam.
That
That should not have happened. Okay. All right. All right.
Yep. There
Awesome.
You go, Panda.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. Let's see. And I'm supposed to deploy. Let me see where I'm supposed to deploy. Maybe Panda can let me know since Panda's here. But I will check. The announcements. And it looks like in phase 6, I will deploy. I'll deploy bottom. So.
Yeah, don't mess up, boy. You got people watching.
Yeah.
Don't mess up. You might want to double check that 3-4 times. Triple check it.
Yeah, I did all that, and yeah, it looks like I'm bottom, so that's fine. I'll deploy here. And there we go.
I'm sitting here screaming through the chat, and Ghost asked a question, and it started out as a legit one, and then it it's like,
Yeah, well, I'm happy. I'm happy I was able to clear that. That's cool. I can't believe I pulled that last one out. That was pretty close. That was.
The chat asked, "Do you like spaghetti or manicotti more?"
A little bit of both. I'm actually not a big spaghetti guy. I actually like. I like manicotti more. Stuffed manicotti would be awesome. Anyway, away from pasta dishes. Yeah, I would like to be. I wish I was on my third plate. I'm actually hungry right now. I could totally do, some sort of a, pasta dish right now. I'm actually a big fan of gnocchi. Gnocchi's my favorite. Potato pasta.
Is this Galactic War? What team is this you're running? You got little Tals and little Palpatine?
This is my AOE special. I call this the AOE special. It's called my Run Through Galactic War in 30 Seconds team. This is how you just beat Galactic War.
I tell you what, man, like, it's nice to be able to burn through Galactic War, but there's some times where I don't know. I'm not even going to complain about it. Like, I complained it took too long before, and now I'm kind of pissed off. Like, I have nowhere to test my teams except just embarrassing myself in arena. Throwing in some poo-poo team in arena and leaving it in there for 15 minutes and dropping 30 spots because everyone wants to fight it. It beats it in 45 seconds.
Right. As far as the Galactic War teams, I mean, it depends. I mean, if I have time and I'm just kind of playing Galactic War throughout the day, yeah, I'll put in like a team that I want to try out, or I'll put in a team that I don't normally use all the time to just kind of play around. But most of the time I'm really trying to finish Galactic War probably in the last few minutes, before reset. Usually in the last half hour or so, I'll think to myself like, man, I got to do my Galactic War, so I'll just quickly go run and do it. And in those circumstances, I want to use the team that gets it done as fast as possible. I'd actually probably do it faster with Anakin as my 5th instead of Talzin, but But Talzin's good too. The thing is, Talzin's higher geared, so I use her, but also Anakin gets the the turn meter increase every time somebody loses. Every time somebody loses health, Anakin can slap that AOE out there, so it's pretty awesome. But anyway, yeah, I wanted to move on to now that we're done with territory battles, I wanted to move on to the meta report. So let's go ahead and do that real quick. So we've had some significant changes here, and probably one of the more interesting meta reports to kind of discuss is the first change here, the first changing of the guard here with Jedi Training Rey. So Jedi Training Rey is now officially the #1 most used leader in the game, ahead of CLS, actually by a pretty large margin. She surpassed him, and now she's at the point where she's about 500 more than him. So, I mean, have you noticed this? I mean, are you seeing that your arena is pretty much taking a shift in that direction, where pretty much most of the people on there are now using Jedi Rey or Rey Jedi Training?
It's just a wall of Rey. But we got a few Night Sister teams, and there's a couple guys with their CLS. We actually have one guy with a Rex, and everybody else is all Rey. Just crazy. They're all running pretty much identical teams. It's just like, they're all running the BB-8, the R2, Old Ben, GK. Like every single team is the exact same. There's a couple guys that run Chopper instead of Old Ben, which of course I like, but doesn't make it very difficult on defense. Like you still just mow right through it. I don't understand. Like, I don't know. It boggles my mind that a legendary character that was essentially behind a paywall with the veterans is just climbed this quick. Like, it's unbelievable. It's a good character, great character though. And I don't know. I'm actually surprised by this, because I thought since everyone just got their CLSs, last week, that we would see CLS even grow even more, but that's not the case, huh?
It's not even just that CLS has been taken over. I mean, kind of the whole thing is kind of shaking around. I mean, so now Rex is behind Mother Talzin, and General Kenobi's behind Mother Talzin. So Mother Talzin now is #3, behind CLS and Rey Jedi Training. So, I mean, I guess this answers the question. I mean, as far as, like, whether Rey was going to be a meta-changing character, I mean, she for sure is. I mean, the meta report, clearly shows us that. But I didn't think it was going to be... I didn't think she was going to completely trump the guy, but, we'll see. I mean, if this trend continues over the next few weeks, I'm just surprised that there's so many people with Rey Jedi Training in the first place. I thought she was going to be a little bit... I thought she was going to be a little bit less had. Like, I thought, like, less people were going to actually complete the farming of the veteran smugglers, and I thought that it looks like a lot of people actually made that plunge and ended up, either investing to finish off the characters, or I mean, I see people at rank like 70, rank 80 with Rey Jedi Training. I'm like, wow. I mean, like, it's crazy that so many people got this character. I mean, so I don't know. I felt like it's pretty interesting to see that everybody is kind of leaning in that direction. It's interesting to see Mother Talzin move all the way up the list to ranked now the 3rd most used leader in Arena. I mean, I guess that just has to do with more people working on Night Sister squads for Dark Side territory battles, and also running Night Sisters for Arena. I mean, you run Night Sisters for Arena. It's a good team for Arena too. It's kind of an anti-meta to Rey Jedi Training and some of the other characters that are available out there. So, I mean, other teams that are available out there, rather. But it's definitely interesting. So, Asajj Ventress also now getting a ton of use. She's actually...
every week, boy, she's climbing.
#6 on the list. She surpassed Akbar, and she surpassed Grand Admiral Thrawn. I didn't think I'd ever see that day where Asajj Ventress was ahead of Grand Admiral Thrawn on the leaders list. But she is, and... now, sneaking at the end there, I mean, obviously we're seeing more General Veers to counter the Night Sister teams. So we're seeing those Imperial Trooper squads. But Kylo Ren Unmasked is the 10th most used leader at rank 1. So Kylo Ren Unmasked, he's actually somebody I'm really excited to get whenever they make him a farmable character somewhere. He's a marquee character, so he will become farmable here in the next few weeks. I'm hoping it's not going to be a hard node. I'm hoping it's going to be like either a Cantina node or maybe they'll put him in. I doubt they'll put him in Galactic War or something like that, but that would be amazing because I really want to work on him, and I'm sure we'll get some other First Order characters here from the movie over the next couple weeks too. So it'll be kind of cool to try out a new First Order squad circa 2018.
I think you'll see Kylo Ren climb a little bit too as he becomes more accessible. Grim and Thane, a couple guys in the chat, has been raving about it, both on streams and in our chat here, just talking how great he is.
He's got the leader's amazing. It's amazing, right? I mean, the speed, the offense. I mean, it's awesome. I mean, he just
like. I look at his kid and I'm like, okay, his leadership is definitely his data. And I look at the rest of the team and I'm like, do I really want to invest? I just finished the Night Sisters and I got all of the Zetas on them, and that takes a long time to outfit a whole faction full of Zetas. I mean, if I take the First Order plunge, I'm looking at doing Zetas there for 2-3 months, because I'd want to get one of the First Order TIE pilot. Want to get Kyle's already got one, but I'd want to get one probably First Order Stormtrooper. Just any new characters that come out, I'm probably gonna have at least one Zeta on them. So.
Yep. All right. Now let's move on to the top 10 squad members at rank 1, and we've seen a little bit of an adjustment here too. So we have now, General Kenobi's number 1 used, R2D2 right there, Grand Admiral Thrawn, CLS still right there. But right behind them, that really hasn't changed much. Those 4 guys are still, 4 of the most used characters in the game. But Rey Jedi Training and BB-8 right behind her. So they're pretty much hand in hand. I guess if you're using Rey, you're using BB-8 on the same squad. So she's being used a lot as a, just a general, a squad member as well. I mean, not just, as a leader, I think, in some cases also. Now, I know that this means that she's, that this includes leaders as well, but what I'm saying is that it's like, I think that there's some people out there that are using her, just as a support member, let's say in, behind a CLS lead, or maybe, even, behind a General Kenobi lead with Zaris, you can use her as a support character in one of those teams, but, I don't know. What are your thoughts about, Rey and BB-8 climbing the list here? I mean, Mother Talzin's on here too, and so is Asajj Ventress now, so we'll get to those in a minute. But
well, I mean, they do. I mean, they go hand in hand. Rey's kit feeds Terminator off secret intel, and BB-8's the only character in the game that does it. So they do go hand in hand. It's interesting that almost 50, 45 people are using Rey without BB-8, so
right.
I'm not really sure.
Right.
Maybe they're in some other form of hybrid resistance teams. Maybe she's just a standalone. I'm not sure.
Right.
I'm working on mine. Mine's Gear 9. I'm not in a huge rush to finish her. Because I do have the Night Sisters, so she'll get there. So I'm looking forward to that. I do have BB-8 done, so I'll have another team when I finish her, so that'll be cool.
What I find interesting is that Old Ben makes it to number 9 now. So Old Ben is now the 9th most used squad member. So
well, I don't know.
That has to do with Rey. Yeah, I mean, well, that has all to do with Rey. I mean, Old Ben has been getting, publicized here as the best tank to go with Rey. And I kind of agree in some respects. I mean, obviously the additional, ability block and turn meter reduction with his Jedi mind trick. The combination of both Jedi mind tricks is great on the squad, and he's got that Zeta with the double taunt, which helps. I mean, if you're using an R2D2, you can use the smoke screen to kind of do that for you, but again, if you don't have R2D2, or if you're just running a regular resistance squad, Old Ben can be a great alternative to using Poe. Now, Poe, I think ultimately would be the best option if he was a little bit tankier. I feel like Old Ben, can kind of withstand some attacks. I mean, like, he's not going to just get one shot by a Han Solo or something like that. Old Ben definitely can withstand some damage, but Poe, even at Gear 12, really is still a pretty squishy tank. I mean, seems to be more of an offensive tank than anything else. I mean, he does taunt, and that AOE expose is fantastic, but I still would have to say that right now, especially with the Zeta, Old Ben is a better option. So that's clearly why we're seeing a lot more of him. But yeah, I mean the top 10 is kind of at least the bottom end of it is kind of rounding out to be completely different. So maybe we'll see some more adjustments there. Maybe we'll see some more of these people creep up into maybe the top 4 at some point. But that's still pretty interesting to discuss. So now we're going to move on to our top 5 this week. And last week we did top 5 worst dark side characters. In completing that or going with that theme this week, we're going to be doing our top 5 worst light side characters. So we're going to go ahead and discuss the worst of the light side of the Force, and some of these characters I think you guys will have always thought should be on this list, and some of them maybe not so much, but we'll go ahead and see. So who's our 5th worst light side character in the game right now, Maurice?
Oh, that is going to be none other than Mr. Clone Wars Chewbacca. He's a character they give you at the very beginning of the game, and he made this list at number 5 just so if somebody were to chime into this, they see it right away. Like, they almost trick you into leveling up Chewbacca as he's your tank out of the gate. And just he is... I mean, I would venture to say that even Hoth Rebel Soldier, who's like the most generic of generic characters, is a better tank than Clone Wars Chewbacca. Difficult to gear. It's just... And you got to get him through Cantina or Hard Nose. There's so many better options to spend any sort of energy on. He's slow. Doesn't hit very hard. He does remove a little bit of turn meter, and I think it might be a 1-turn taunt. I think maybe 2-turn taunt once you get him all the way up. I mean, it's not an impressive taunt at all. He self heals. He just kind of just stands there, and just not a good tank to work on. So don't fall into the Clone Wars Chewbacca trap as a new player.
He was at one point the second best tank in the game. But that was a long time ago. Yeah, that's because there were 2 tanks. Yes, no, he was at one point. Again, he was at one point. I wouldn't say he was never like a meta character. You know what I'm saying? But I mean, he was definitely in the early stages of the game somebody that, especially when there were less characters than there are now, less options than there are now. He was somebody that helped you get through some of that early game content. Nowadays, there's literally almost no reason to have a Chewbacca other than the fact that do they still even give him to you for free at the beginning of the game?
Yeah,
he's still the first character you get.
Like they give you this tank at the beginning of the game, and it's cool because he's a tank. But I mean, you can access First Order Stormtrooper. You can access in Hard Nodes. You can access Old Ben and Scarecrow Pathfinder. I think in the second table of Cantina, like you can access these tanks that are 10 times better than Chewbacca within like 3 or 4 days of playing the game, So, I mean, you can get Kanan out of Arena. You can get, Poe's there. He's an option, of course. I mean, there's every other tank that you can get.
Pretty much every other taunting tank is better than Chewie, right? I mean, even his basic is so underwhelming, right? I mean, you'd figure having the bowcaster, you see how what kind of damage the bowcaster does. It looks like you're throwing like a toothpick at somebody. You know what I'm saying, in the game. But I mean, the new Chewbacca, the veteran smuggler Chewbacca, actually has the legit bowcaster. This is like almost like a slingshot he's using over here. It's like, does like no damage.
You start the game, and when you very first start this game, you just have Carbonis flowing everywhere. You got 600 of them. You're like, oh, I can donate them every day because you don't have any tanks. So don't put them on Chewbacca.
Right.
Please don't put Carbonis on Chewbacca.
Yeah, he's definitely somebody that you get early game that you may think you want to put some investment into because he's going to help you. You can pretty much, after a couple of days, move in a different direction from him. So, yeah, again, I agree with Maurice. I wouldn't invest too much in Chewbacca. But moving along, we're going to go with our number 4 worst light side character in the game, and that is going to be none other than Pow.
Oh, yes, Pow. He was a character that was given to us. Technically, I think he went straight to being farmable, did he not?
He went straight into the Cantina store, right? Like you were able to just use your Cantina currency, the Cantina tokens to get him.
Like, here you guys go. Here's a, we don't do this very often. We're gonna give you guys a completely free to obtain character, and we're gonna call him Pow.
We're gonna call him Pow.
Very little. Might have been in the movie for what, 2 seconds? I don't think
I don't think he's credited. I don't think he's even credited in the movie. I don't think that they mentioned his name at all. So
he does putrid damage. He had a small window of popularity when people were running that Kenobi Retribution team. He was a great fit on there because he did go so often. Just awful damage. He basically attacked 3 times, which is, cool, but he's not doing any damage. And especially if you're facing like a team that counters, that's 3 counters coming back at you. So it's really not a good basic. He has to take a whole turn to give allies offense up. Like if it's his turn and you want to give offense up, like that's his whole turn. That's all he does. It's not like he gives offense up and then in addition to something else gives offense up on a basic. He just gives offense up and then he gets 40% turn meter. Like that's not a good move. That's not a good choice for a turn in an arena battle.
Yeah,
and then he's got an AOE that I think does defense down. And just he's got like the weird BB-8 kind of cooldown. Like if a rebel uses a basic attack, his cooldowns get reduced by 1, so then you can launch that offense up quicker. I guess I'm not sure. Not a good character. I know the game requires you to have Rogue One characters for that mission. He is one of the easier ones to obtain. But just be patient. Go with somebody else. Don't use him for Rogue One, please.
Right.
Please don't.
They're pretty much every other Rogue One character is better. And Scarifro Pathfinder, Biston is a better option. Biston is great actually, and especially in PvE content. He's great for a Rancor raid. And he can definitely help you out in light side territory battles if you get him geared up high enough. But obviously, if you're going to be investing in any of these characters, you want to invest in the core 5 from Rogue One first, which would be Jyn, Cassian, K2SO, Chirrut and Baze. So I think Pow, obviously underwhelming damage, doesn't really have a fantastic synergy with any real meta squads right now, and again, just a kind of a character, almost like just a little bit like above a generic character, I would say. And the fact that he actually did appear in a film, but just really as a background character, didn't have any any real role in the movie or any parts that were really something to speak of. So, kind of like Biston, but Biston ended up getting the better end of the ability stick, and he has he has better options. Turn meter reduction, his frenzy is cool. I'm kind of still wondering why frenzy is only available with Biston, and there's no other characters that have had that buff besides him. It's kind of waste because frenzy is actually a really cool buff. Wish other characters could get that in some way, or maybe there was a leader that could kind of give that ability to other characters.
Yeah, but the fact that we've discussed Power for this long is
yeah, we shouldn't be talking about it this long. All right, so number
terrible, guys. There's no reason.
Go ahead.
There's no reason for anyone that. Yeah, no, don't do it. Don't do any of these characters.
Yeah, don't do any of these characters. So number 3 is gonna be none other than Coruscant Underworld Police. I know you guys probably thought this guy was going to be on the list, and yes, he's on the list. Now he's actually finally gotten a tag, so for the longest time he was not a part of any faction, but now he's actually part of the Galactic Republic, so he does get some benefits or some synergy with some characters now. But just all around, really an underwhelming character. Even just looking at his abilities, non-lethal crowd control, non-lethal takedown. Just anything. All of his abilities say non-lethal. So you're pretty much you're looking at a guy who kind of just pokes you a little bit, and he gets no damage. I think does he still have that? He has an AOE stun, right?
No, he's got stun in his basic, which is cool, but it's only 50% chance, and his AOE does offense down, and I think 70% chance to inflict offense down.
Yeah, so just awful all the way around. Again, really no synergy to speak of. Doesn't have a ship. Doesn't really benefit you or is required in any section of the game. A character that I've had, from the beginning, and I've never used him for anything. Coruscant Underworld Police, number 3 worst light side character in the game. And could be even worse. Arguably number 3, could be number 1. You really could interchange these some of these characters. Once you get this low, because it just depends on how what you're using them for. It's arguable. It's arguable.
QQQ says throw them in the ocean.
Throw them in the ocean. Coruscant Underworld, please. Throw them in the ocean. All right. So, number 2 worst light side character in the game is, I know there's going to be some arguments here, but it's Ugnaught. Okay, and Maurice, why do you think he's the second worst character in the game?
Because he is atrocious. He's awful. He does. Oh, he's terrible. And the thing about it is that there are quite a few people that are embarrassed to admit that they have, like Mr. Azab here himself, is a gear tit Ugnaught, because before the tank raid came out, it was rumored, everybody thought, because he has all the anti-droid, synergy, the moves and stuff, like he was going to be the man, and he was serviceable, but only to be outclassed by another team comp within a matter of weeks. Just terrible character. And I think he takes 6 or 7 Rancor gears, which is just laughable. He takes so much raid gear to gear. Not good at all. I think he takes the most raid gear of anybody to gear, and that's part of the reason why he's on this list. Also, yes, he does have a little bit of utility in the HAT raid, but there are just so many better options now since that. And other than that short-lived little moment, even for a little while in the past, characters like Newt Gunray had a time to shine too. When there was that whole bug with Lando and Newt Gunray could use them. That was so funny.
Everybody's had like a little bit of viability at some point, and Ugnaught had that little moment there where we all thought he was going to be the meta for the HAAT raid. Because going into it, AOE stun, and he's got. He's kind of powerful against droids. It's a raid against droids. You'd figure this guy would be the dominant character in that raid. But obviously now that we've, had some time to figure out some other options for the raid and figure out some better teams for the raid, you're really not going to see Ugnaught in any of those teams anymore. And
you got him Omega too, don't you?
I do have him Omega, yes. Yeah. I made that plunge.
This is a perfect example of rumors going bad. Like Ugnaught was the hype train. Boy, he was the conductor of the hype train.
At least I stopped at gear 10. At least I didn't go any further.
Yeah. Phew, it's a good thing you didn't put that last Omega on that basic.
Yeah. At least I didn't equip those stun cuffs. Thank God for that. But
honestly, if you're not. You need to have all the characters, right? But if you need to take a little break and farm for some money out of Squad Arena, and you get to Cup and Ugnaught just left in the Squad Arena, take yourself a couple weeks and just get yourself some credits. There's really no rush to get either of those characters with that arena currency whatsoever.
Now, moving along to the number 1 worst light side character, we're actually going to be looking at number 1 here at a group of characters. Okay, and this is. More than anything, also a cry to the developers to please do something about this, okay? And that's these old Jedi, right? The stinky Jedi, the dirty Jedi, the ones that we don't want to look at anymore, okay? And those are, Jedi Knight Guardian, Kit Fisto, Eve Koth, Jedi Consular, Plo Koon, and yes, Mace Windu, okay? Mace Windu is a Jedi Master of the highest regard, okay? This guy took down Palpatine in single combat, okay? And, he's one of the few Jedi in the history that's able to kind of wield both the light side and the dark side of the Force successfully and still hold true to the Jedi. And, really just depicted in the films as super awesome and somebody who should be, one of the top characters in this game. And he's been reworked. They've given him, some attention in the past. Still sucks. Something needs to happen. Plo Koon has never gotten any love. Jedi Consular, absolutely nothing. From the beginning of the game, he was just kind of he's one of the only healers, so you kind of needed him to get through some of that content. But man, Eve Koth was my boy in the past. He was my boy. That stun. And he's awful now. You can't use him for anything. And Jedi Knight Guardian never had a place in this game. Just as bad as Mob Enforcer. Okay? And Kit Fisto. The only time you could really look at a Kit Fisto was for that, short period of time when you were, talking about that I'm a Gundy counter meta, so
Kit Fisto can counter you for 1,600 damage. He's terrible.
Terrible damage. That AOE is a joke. It's like a baby version of Anakin's AOE, and it's just all across the board. All these characters need attention. They need to be reworked. They need to be given Zetas. In some cases, maybe just removed from the game, like Jedi Knight Guardian.
Three of them have ships. And yes, all of these characters, with the exception of Jedi Knight Guardian, are probably better than most of the other characters we already mentioned. It's just most of these characters are named characters. This is Jedi, like Ugnaught, Underworld Police. Those are supposed to be terrible generic characters. These are Jedi. 1, 2, 3, 4 of them being like
these are force wielding characters. Okay, these are supposed to be this is why you play the game. I want to, some people like Plo Koon. Some people want to use I'm a gun die. Okay, yes, that's the correct saying is I'm a gun die. I'm a gonna die. Yes. But Mace Windu, I've always wanted to use Mace Windu in this game. And when they did the rework, I thought to myself, maybe there's a chance with some sort of a Jedi squad. But mark my words, the Jedi meta is coming back, okay? And when it does, these people are going to get a rework. You're going to see, at some point, guys, okay, we're going to be getting, we have two Hero's Journey characters now, okay? And they're both eventually going to be Jedis, okay? So Rey Jedi Training will eventually be Jedi Rey. Luke Skywalker will eventually be Return of the Jedi Luke, the Jedi there too. So when that happens, there's going to be two amazing Jedi in this game, and that'll be including Hermit Yoda and maybe even a reworked Mace Windu. And when that happens, it'll be Jedi time again. And it'll put a smile on my face because I'm looking forward to the day that Mace Windu is actually a usable character in this game. But
your Ugnaughts leveled up higher than your Mace Windu.
Well, listen, I had a time period where my Mace Windu was first of all, that's your Mace Windu. Okay, but no, I had a time where Mace Windu, was a plan of mine, because of the rework. I thought he was going to be okay, but then when I saw a friend of mine use him, he just was awful, and I was like, it's not worth it. So hopefully, they rework him again without a random expose on a character that he doesn't attack when he's on defense. Doesn't make any sense. So, we'll see what happens. But again, characters here that need some love for sure. The Jedis. So, hopefully we're being heard. We'll see what happens. But that's the top 5 worst light side characters in the game, courtesy of good old Maurice, Ramona Zab, and the Alliance. So, moving along here, we're going to go back to some gameplay. I'd like to get to some questions here. So if you guys have any questions that you'd like to have asked on the stream, or any topics that you'd like to discuss on the stream before we wrap it up here, now is the time. Type them into the chat, and we'll have a little short discussion here about any topics you guys would like to talk about, and I'll do some Galactic War here while we do that. But do you have any questions compiled from the first part? Were there any questions?
Yeah, I pulled out a few here. Let me see if I can find them again. One was talking about ship hardware. Let me find the exact question.
Ooh, that's an interesting topic. Yeah, ship hardware. I've been wondering about that myself.
Jolly Pants asks, what about the ship energy that was discovered back in June during the Thrawn event? I'm not sure what that is a reference to. Are you? I wasn't sure what he's talking about. But he goes on to say, what do you guys think about that? And then maybe finally getting the ship PVE, which we kind of touched on.
What was the first? What was the first question?
The ship energy was discovered back in June. He puts "discovered" in air quotes. Back in June during the Thrawn event. I don't remember what that was.
Ship energy?
Something, I guess. Yeah, I guess ship energy that was just. I'm not sure what it is. Maybe a bug he's referring to. If you're in the chat, man, just type something. I guess I'm not sure what that's a reference to. But I guess it's the hardware. How do you think they're going to introduce it? When do you think they're going to introduce it?
I don't know.
What do you think it's going to do?
I mean, I think of course they will at some point because it's a natural progression. It's a way for them to make more money, and it's a way for them to add some sort of new achievement for ships, right? Because there's no ship gear right now. The gear for ships is essentially the characters. So, I mean, the first thing they would have to work on would be, I guess this hardware. So, what I think hardware will be, and this is just my opinion, is I think they'll be kind of like mods for ships. Okay, so I think whenever that drops, I think it'll be something similar to that. And I don't know if they'll have the same types of statistics like mods do right now, but I think maybe it'll be smaller, in the sense that maybe it'll be like, one mod or two mods or three mods for a ship rather than having, a whole set of 6 mods like we have right now. But I think that's what we're looking at there. I don't think it's going to be necessarily like gear or anything like that where it's like an automatic, that you get this additional stat because let's say you got this hardware. I think there'll be different types of hardware, or there'll be or all hardware will be the same and the numbers will be different based upon let's say RNG.
Well, there's some different icons on the hardwares. They're not like there's a couple different icons. Maybe there's different types of hardware,
right?
That you have to get. But there's only one of them, right? So, I mean, do you think that maybe you just get this base hardware, then you actually have to level it up yourself?
Well, bear in mind that whatever graphics we're seeing right now and, whatever they have there is just a placeholder. So, I mean, the image that you're seeing there could change entirely, and they could add, some whole new section. I imagine that whenever it does come out, it's not going to look like it does now. It'll look like something completely different. They're not going to have those pictures up there anymore. They'll have something else, maybe kind of like they have for mods now. They'll have that whole section where you can see all your mods and all that stuff. But I mean, I don't know. Again, I just don't think it's going to be like gear where you just have to get a certain amount of pieces farmed and that'll be it. I think it'll be something where you can attain these through some sort of an event, or you buy them, and then they'll get some sort of a statistical increase for the ships, and you'll be able to alternate those based upon the type of ship that it is. Maybe some ships will only use like sort of like an R2D2 droid, and some ships will use like a BB-8 droid, and some ships will use like an Imperial droid. Or something like that. There'll be different types. There'll be like Imperial hardware. There'll be Rebel hardware, stuff like that.
Well, and this kind of touches on our PvE discussion earlier. If they bring out these things, you're going to have to farm them from somewhere, right?
Right.
So there is an empty section on the main cantina, this little podium, without anything on top of it. So that could be some sort of ship PvE, or maybe a hardware mod type store. I don't know. But it is there, and they run out of room to put stuff, so we'll see. It just, I don't know. It's gonna have to. Well, who knows? Like if these hardware things include speed secondaries, that's really going to shake it up.
Right.
You know.
Right. Next question. Do we have any?
Yeah, we got a couple more here. Hold on. Cycling back and forth. Okay, that was Jedi Pants. We got another Pants question from Masta Goku SSJR.
Okay.
He wants to know teams that counter Rey. How you beat Rey if you don't? How do you beat Rey if you don't have Rey?
Well, that's actually interesting because we were talking about that before the stream. You said something about Night Sisters, right?
Oh, Night Sisters are a definite counter to Jedi Rey. People are using Rex leads. My shard to beat it. The guy posted a video last week for me about his Rex. I mean, his Rex leads tearing it up. I guess you could run. If you can get people really, really fast, you can use like speed lead. You gotta have to have them lightning fast, so we get like TFP going and put buff immunity around. You're basically just trying to beat the secret intel, right? Like, cause the team feeds off the secret intel, Rey feeds off secret intel. So you want to get rid of like AOE dispels, AOE buff immunity, like TIE Fighter Pilot, B2. God, Asajj yourself is AOE dispel. God forbid you got Echo on your team. If you do, he's an AOE dispel. Characters like that just to keep the secret intel at bay, slow Rey down. Because all the AOE dispels also get rid of the foresight, which is nice. Or at least Asajj just does. I'm using her, so that's fresh in my mind. And that gets rid of the foresight. Speed.
So,
I mean, any Night Sister team, it doesn't matter which lead you use, and you can use them under gear, or not, excuse me, not under gear, but under starred. So if you got like a 4-star Talisman, 2-star zombie, you can get there and challenge the Rey teams with that. And the other 3 characters are free to play, like Asajj, Acolyte. You can even throw in like an R2. You can use 3 free to play Night Sisters like Daka, Asajj, Acolyte. You can throw an R2 in Kenobi. I mean, they'll still beat them because the AOE dispel is that awesome against Rey. But
I still think you can kind of win with. I mean, obviously you can run a mirror team. You can also, I think you can win with. I mean, can't you win with an Empire squad right now if you put the right Empire squad out there?
Oh yeah. A guy named Sith Lord actually sent us a video of Vader taking it down. Vader looked pretty good. There's a couple Jedi teams floating around. Thane here is in the chat. He was sending me some videos of his Jedi teams. Pretty cool comp that he was beating the Reys with, and it was Qui-Gon, Hermit Yoda, GK. I believe it was the other Yoda and Ezra. I think it's both. Correct me if I'm wrong, Thane, if you're still here, but just like both Yodas, Qui-Gon, Ezra, GK, and it was doing pretty well. So I guess maybe you just counter the foresight of the Rey BB-8 teams with the foresight of the Jedi. That team, look, I'm not sure how that team would operate. I don't really. That's it. You guys saw my Jedi on the screen. They're not very good.
Yeah.
Yeah, Jedi Pants is saying the Thrawn lead, like the kind of Empire, Imperial Trooper hybrid teams can beat it.
I would say those are the best options, yeah.
It's just, unfortunately, I can't give like concrete answers because I was running the Night Sisters. Rey came out, didn't affect my team at all, so I'm still running the Night Sisters. So I haven't really experimented and played with it too much.
Well, I know you can definitely run. You can still win with a CLS team if you have that. What I mean? So you can just put together, a decent CLS team. What it comes down to is still kind of the same thing that it's always come down to in Arena, and it's really the mods. I mean, if you have great mods, you can pretty much use most squads and win right now. I mean, at least these meta squads. I mean, like if you're talking about Night Sisters or a CLS team or If you're talking about, let's say uh, um, like some sort of a rebel hybrid team with Hermit Yoda and maybe Admiral Akbar, a Rey Jedi training team. Any of these teams, can win right now. You just kind of need to have the right mods on the squad to face your opponent. And if you have, let's say, a specific opponent, you can use certain synergies against that opponent. Like, for example, Night Sister squads are, greatly countered by Imperial Trooper squads, and Imperial Trooper squads are, greatly countered by, what would be a great counter for an Imperial Trooper squad? I guess maybe, a Rey Jedi training team.
Well, he specifically asked how you beat Rey if you don't have Rey. So I don't think a mirror team is an option for Mr. Masta.
No. I know that that's not the option for him, but I'm just saying in general, you can get through a Rey Jedi training team with a pretty good Night Sister squad, I think, and you don't necessarily have to have a Gear 12 7-star Mother Talzin either. I think you can get away with using a 3 or a 4-star Mother Talzin and maybe a Saj Ventress instead of Mother Talzin.
Well, if you can somehow daze Rey quickly, that really slows the team down too, because she won't get all that turn meter. Like, 8% turn meter here, 5% turn meter here, 10 here. It's a bunch of little numbers. They all add up, and just next thing you know, she's just going and going and going and going. And just yeah.
Yeah, and Pants' suggestion here, which is Thrawn Lead, Krennic, Death Trooper, Shore Trooper, and Stark can beat that team too. So, again, you can put together a good squad. It's going to depend on the Zetas that you have on that team. I mean, you're going to want to have a Zeta on Thrawn Lead. I'm sure you're going to want to have a Zeta on Death Trooper. And also, you're going to want to have some fast characters because the speed is going to matter there. But you're going to want to have the characters geared up, well enough to Gear 12, all that stuff. So it just depends on the gear that you put on the team and the mods. But all right, next question.
Next question comes from Grim. He asks, how important is Mother Talzin's unique Zeta?
I think it's pretty important.
I think it's 35% turn meter.
I think it's more important.
I think that's probably lead first, then Talzin unique.
Yeah,
100%.
I still think it's pretty important. I mean, both of her Zetas are really important, I think. But yeah, I mean, her lead first, and then the unique. But the unique is, I mean, if you're talking about using her outside of a Night Sister squad, the unique is a must-have.
Oh yeah, if you're ever talking about that's she's borderline. I mean, without that Zeta and a hybrid team, unless you just have crazy mods, she's borderline just unusable. She's so slow.
Right.
I think that Zeta is super important, especially the plague. The ability itself is just going to constantly be sucking turn meter down, or excuse me, health down. And if you're fighting the Barris team, they'll heal up a little bit, get back in the green. The plague will bring them right back down. She goes again. And the more she goes, you put that Omega on her basic, and every time she hits somebody with plague, she adds another stack to it. So, I mean, the more she goes, the more plagues going around, and just all of a sudden, it doesn't look like you're making much progress in the battle. The whole team just falls over dead, just from all the plague you got going on.
Yeah, pretty much. So, yeah, you gotta get that Zeta on her unique if you're using her in, like, let's say as like a support character on your squad. Like, like right now I'm using her outside of a Night Sister squad, so I only have her unique Zeta. I don't have her leader Zeta yet because I'm still working on my Night Sister team. So.
Oh, see, you're a better man than me. I couldn't pull off any team with her just without a Night Sister team behind her. I couldn't do it. I had no luck with that.
Yeah,
I would do leader first. It doesn't matter which one, Talzin or Saj, take your pick. Both have pros and cons. They're both good, both great. And then I would do her unique, Talzin's unique second.
I use her as I use her as as my fifth in a Rey Jedi training team. I mean, again, it's not really a great defensive team, but it's fun on offense, and the expose with the plague really goes well together. I think they kind of work with each other, and it's fun to use that team. But yeah, I mean,
Well,
again,
that's a cool concept, yeah, because you can't dispel if you're plagued, so that's cool because the exposures just sit there and they can't get rid of them.
right?
That's a cool. Yeah, that's good thinking. Yeah.
It's fun. It's fun. Again, it's just like anything, it has its flaws, so it can be beat. So I mean, you just use it against the right comps, and it can beat any team out there though. So that's the most important thing. But all right, next question.
That is pretty much all the questions I pulled out of the chat. Just a lot of chat tonight, a lot of chit chat, but not many
That's good.
actual questions.
Well, if that's the case, yeah, Saj lead. I'm just reading here. Saj lead could be better than Mother Talzin lead. I mean, Saj's lead is actually really good, especially because of the turn meter manipulation. I mean, you're talking about if you have a fast enough Asajj and you have a fast enough team, if you have good mods on that team, you can really hold the other team at bay, and they'll rarely go. Because of the fact that you're basically constantly just reducing their turn meter. I think even with the other Zetas for the rest of the nights, there's more turn meter manipulation in those Zetas, right?
Well, for arena, I don't think there's a wrong answer. It's just depending on your play style, and your mods. If you have better mods, a Saj lead is probably going to be better because you can do more with it. And just for arena, if you have lower mods than your average arena mate, then Talzin lead's probably going to work better for you because you can just you get all your offense off the revives, the constant revives. So,
right.
I think that plays a big role in it. But Asajj's leadership is much more useful for all around gameplay. I mean, if you have a good Night Sister team with an Asajj lead, you can even use the 5 free to play Night Sisters. No zombie, no Talzin, no spirit, and you can get all the way 4/4 through the first 5 territories. I got 3 of 4 in P6 of the 5 free to play. I fell way short on that. But still at this point, if you could get even 2 out of 4, 3 out of 4 with like a 1 Zeta investment in Asajj's lead, all free to play characters, that's not a bad team you built.
No.
Yeah.
Absolutely not. But we're gonna go ahead and wrap it up here, guys. Running low on battery as it is, so we had just enough to get this done, which is good, and had an interesting time. Came really close there in my territory battles. I'm glad you guys stuck it out with me, and next week we'll be back again on Friday with a live stream, and we'll be hopefully taking a look at the Wampa, because I'll be unlocking him after this territory battles here, so I'm going to try to gear him up as far as I can, and we'll take a look at Wampa and how he works with some different squads next week. But appreciate you guys all checking it out. Again, Happy New Year. Welcome to 2018. Looking forward to a lot of cool stuff this year. We're going to be doing, again, a Mastering the Meta for Rey Jedi Training here pretty soon, and I'll have one for Wampa as well. But, may the Force be with you guys, and I'll see you on the next one. Thanks.